Dude, are you recording, Sean?
I am.
You didn't fucking hear it?
Okay. We might be live on Facebook, but if not, then you'll see this on YouTube later. Hello and welcome to Beer. Do we want to try the beer?
No.
Click. Okay.
All right.
Welcome
Yeah,
to
you're not live under our page. You're live under me.
Yeah, I thought you said that was okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Hi, I'm Jake. Well, we are Jake. All of us are Jake.
We are Jake.
Um,
Like Venom.
YouTube chat wasn't working, so hopefully this does. Sorry for the inconvenience. We're new to this and not good at dealing with technical difficulties. Anyways, welcome to Beer League Bench Warmers, the podcast recorded on a Wii Sports basketball bench where everyone looks kind of poorly animated and a little disproportionate, but I'm not going to hold it against them. They're just having a good time. Today, we're talking about the Sabres and video game movies and movie video games and other things tangentially-ish related. All right, so today I made a mistake earlier and said Repairman was Jim Carrey, and I need to apologize for that. Do your best Cal impressions. How would you Repairman the Sabres? This is way worse than the first time we did it, by the way.
I think it's better.
Who?
Sure. Cal Thompson. He had a bit in some Nickelodeon show where he goes like "Repairman, man," and ruins
Cal,
everything.
Not Cal.
Cal? Cal?
And
Sounds like you're saying
Keenan
Cal.
was Thompson. Cal, I don't know what his name is, or Cal,
Yeah.
whatever his name was.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
yeah, how would you
You're
fix
right.
the Sabres?
Okay, I need more beer league. Wait, bench warming beer.
Bench warming beer.
All right. So what's wrong with the Sabres?
They suck.
Yeah, they do.
If you ask me, they have too much dead cap space. They have to pay their taxi squad, and a lot of them aren't even playing. And they have a lot of. I'm just repeating what somebody else said one time. I have no clue what I'm talking about.
Well, it's Kyle stole my thunder, so I got nothing.
Yeah, fuck Kyle.
Sorry. All right. Can you
You
actually
swear
say it,
Facebook?
Sean?
I was saying earlier with our other live stream, but I'll say it again. We just have a lot of not dead contracts, but just huge contracts that are not producing. You're paying Skinner $9 million, who hasn't scored a goal yet this year. You're paying
Gonna get
Okposo.
benched.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a healthy scratcher for tomorrow's game.
He was really good. What for that 10-game streak 2 years ago?
I mean, that whole season he scored 40 goals.
40 goals,
See?
and then
That's why he got paid.
yeah, exactly, contract year. You got Okposo, who's a good fourth liner, but he doesn't deserve the money he's making to be a fourth liner. So, and then you sign some guys in the off season. Yeah, a couple of them are filling in or doing well this year. And then you spend all that money on Gergensons, which I don't think Gergensons is worth half of what he's getting paid. And then he got hurt this year. So
I was gonna say it's hard for him to produce the contract.
no, I know this year. Yeah, it's the case. But I didn't think he was worth that contract in general. And then Risto, I mean, he's hit or miss. We'll see. We still don't have a goaltending. They had this prospect that's supposed to be up and coming, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and
That's a cool name.
he hasn't seen light of day yet. Which I understand it takes time for him to develop, but you need something.
And not to fully interrupt you, he might not be the best goalie prospect.
What I hear.
They got that kid who plays for a certain school that's pretty damn good, which I don't even know the kid's name, but he plays for Michigan. And I know the school. I don't know his name. And apparently he's got a higher upside than UPL.
Yeah,
What you got to do is you got to hire a goalie to be your Zamboni driver.
no, it's the other way around.
Fuck you, Kyle.
Okay.
You gotta hire
And then you have a
Zamboni driver to
backup.
be your goalie.
Either way, they're
Luukkonen,
both really good strategies.
Luukkonen won best goalie of the year and best player of the year in the OHL 2 seasons ago. So yeah.
What's the OHL?
Ontario Hockey
Juniors.
League, the juniors.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, that's good upside. But, I mean, you need something now because clearly Allmark is not the answer. And Hutton is not what everybody thought that he was going to be. Yeah, he's a good maybe backup that can play 20 games a year. But when you give him more of the workload or anything like that, like they did a couple of years ago or last year when Allmark went down, he was trash. And that's just, I mean, if you get a hot goalie, you ride them. You look at like a team like right now, like Chicago's playing good hockey because they got a hot goalie going right now. Fleury's playing great right now for the Golden Knights. Like, look at the year that St. Louis won the Cup. Jordan Bennington. I don't even think he's that good of a goalie, but he got hot at the right time. So, I mean, who knows? I'm
And an
definitely thinking
explosive goalie.
getting rid of some of these big contracts, moving some players. But I did hear reports or rumors that Taylor Hall's agent and the Sabres are in talks about extending a contract with the Sabres. Don't know how true it is. You know, rumors fly around, but honestly, I don't think he'll be here by the deadline or before the deadline. I think he's gone.
Well, who would want him? He's getting paid $9 million, and he has 1 goal.
Right?
So I
And he
mean,
doesn't- yeah, exactly. And that's the big thing comes down to.
who would want him? Who can afford him? Honestly, the contract extension, it's freaking crazy. But Larry's watching.
I
He's
see
already
that.
talking shit. Contract extension, you can probably extend him super cheap right now.
That's true.
Probably don't. You could probably sign him for $5 million. His contract get cut in half pretty much per year. UPL, I have questions about because he does good in the OHL. He did good in the ECHL, but when he made that jump to the AHL, he did not do good. And the ECHL to the AHL jump is a lot smaller than the AHL to the NHL jump.
Big time.
And he's also not young. Like, he's already 24, 25. So, like, in the professional athlete's age, that's old. Well,
Especially for a
you should be in your prime, I should say. He's not old. You should be in your prime. If you're not where you need to be,
You should be an elite by
I
then.
think it's more roles. You have a role you're supposed you have a role you're signed to fill. And if I wasn't paying attention, but if your guy is signed as a young upstart who's supposed to build and grow as talent and just be like raw talent, but he's not, and he's not even filling the like leadership role that you could expect an experience in teaching younger guys that you'd expect an older player to do, then you got to question the value.
well, yeah, I mean, goalies are hard. I mean, I would like to see what UPL can do. I don't think Hutton's even an NHL backup. I think Allmark's a backup at best. Skinner is just a contract that you were backed into the corner because it was the offseason that you let O'Reilly go and got chastised for completely. So you definitely can't let a 40-goal scorer walk.
Nope. Yeah,
Otherwise,
just
you'll
let him
lose
walk
your
or-
job. Oh, wait, he did anyways. And now, yeah, we
Wait.
got
Coach got fired?
GM.
Yeah.
GM. Oof.
I mean, and the coach has gotten fired. But
Well, how do you expect to perform? Everyone's new.
they showed there was a stat out there. I saw it on Twitter. I think it was Housley's, Kruger's, and Bilesma's first 82 games, I think it was. And their records were pretty much identical. And it's like, okay, for all the fans that are complaining about the coach, which I don't think I think he's far from the answer, but I think he's far from the problem. How can you blame the coach after coach after coach? How can you blame a GM when you've had Regier, Tim Murray, Botterill, and now Kevin Adams? How can you blame the players when you are rotating new rosters? What's the constant? It's the freaking idiots that own the team
Shocker.
who hired a president of hockey operations with LaFontaine, and he lasted about a week until he just up and quit. And why do you think he up and quit? Because probably the Pagulas are trying to be Jerry Jones, and
Yep. They didn't
for
give
one, it doesn't work in Dallas.
Nope.
And for two, they might be able to run businesses, but running a team are two different things. You need to have somebody in that position that actually know what they're doing. Like that'd be like hiring me to run a basketball team. I couldn't do it. I mean, I can't do a hockey team either, but I have a better shot at a hockey team. The Pegulas, I think, let the reins go with the Bills and Bean and McDermott and let them do their thing, and it's worked out well with them. Where
Exactly.
watching the Embedded series, there was one episode where literally Kid Pegula told Kevin Adams what to text, and it's like they're playing puppets and they're tugging on the string.
Shouldn't be micromanaging.
No, and it's like you don't know what you're doing. So, you need to get rid of the Pegulas. Just period.
Yep.
Yeah, you have a lot.
Saving our team, but sign the paychecks or sign the team away. And that's the thing too. You got Eichel, who's not producing right now. Taylor Hall is not producing. Skinner is not producing. You got Victor Olofsson, who honestly, yes, he's a great offensive player, but I think he can be a liability when he's on the ice playing in the defensive zone. I don't think he's that great of a two-way player. He's leading in goals with 6 now. Eichel's got 2. I said that. Reinhardt's got up to 5 now. Other than that, it's like it drastically.
Hall's got 1. I think Stahl's got 2.
Drastically drops off. Like you can't have that. You need to have your top 6 guys producing on a nightly basis, having your bottom 6.
But being a liability on the defensive zone, would you have a average two-way player? Would you rather have a Jason Pominville or an Alex Ovechkin?
Ovechkin.
Right. So if you're a defensive liability, you don't want 5 guys out there that are a defensive liability. But if you're a guy that's going to score 40 to 50 goals every season, no questions asked, but you might give up some goals in the defensive zone, we're on Facebook now, so I can't even say the stuff that I would do to you. There'd be stuff coming out of my mouth. But
the best defense is a good offense, and the best offense is a good defense.
Right. Yeah, you'd rather, ideally, you want a team that's just full of amazing two-way players, defense and forwards, but that doesn't happen. That's why there's a Selke Award winner, and it's usually Datsuk and Crosby and all those players, but you don't see Ovechkin ever on there. Even Patrick Kane, you never see Patrick Kane, but I would have taken a prime Patrick Kane. So I'd be fine if Olofsson's that 40-plus goal scorer every year, but he gives up a defensive zone break. Fine.
Oh yeah, I'll take that, but he ain't even doing. What do you have? 20 goals last year. So I mean,
in a shortened season too.
Shortened season, but
rookie season. And
I'd really hope he
a 7th round pick. So I mean, he's already surpassed his bar.
Oh yeah.
I'm open to the idea of Eichel. I'll just say that. I'm open to the idea of trading him. I think that he is a cancer. I think he's toxic. I think that he thinks that this team should and will bend over backwards to do whatever he wants to do because it so far has. Mm-hmm. Because he's the face of the season, the team.
Right now.
I think that's
the only person I know.
I think that's a problem with sports where I think the players have too much power nowadays.
You just agree?
What if you traded him? Would he do amazing on another team? Yes, he would. What you get in return is what would be the question. The team won't trade him because they got burned on the O'Reilly trade, and they're probably still shell shocked from it, and they don't want it to happen again. But I think his $9 million or whatever, $10 million that he's making, and he's only got 2 goals and 6 or 7 assists. He's not doing that good. Dahlin, I would be looking for partners to trade Dahlin while his potential is still high. But I think everybody's defense with Dahlin is that he's young. Just because you're young doesn't mean you're good. Just because you're young doesn't mean you will be good. It means you could be good.
Yep.
So, a clean house, as Larry is saying, let them all go. I'm fine with it. Nobody's safe. I'd be open to any idea. I'd be dangling Skinner in front of Seattle, saying,
Is that a hockey pun?
Take this.
I think I would give him a first-round pick to take Skinner.
Right. Honestly, I think the only one that actually has been a decent surprise that I've actually enjoyed watching this year is Cousins.
Yeah. I think Cousins has played really well.
Mm-hmm. I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, Jack Quinn's only played, I think, 2 games in Rochester. I'd be curious to see how he does.
Nice shootout goal the other night.
Sturdy shootout goal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're paying a lot of money for a lot of, well, not a lot of
play.
Yeah, not a lot of production. You're paying 10. Eichel's making 10 million, right?
Yep, 8 years, 80 million. 80.
So yeah, 10 million, 2 goals. Skinner's making 8 million, 0 goals. Okposo's making 6 or 7 million, 0 goals.
I could do that. I could get them 0 goals for that much money.
Yeah, no,
Same here. I do it for
Just pay me-
$100,000.
Exactly. Pay me $100,000. You save all
Yeah.
the money and get the same production.
just
Yep.
pay me the beer that I will drink on the bench. I'm fine with that.
Exactly.
So I mean, yeah, you got like 20 plus million tied up into a handful of goals. And I get a lot of people's argument against Kruger is this is the most skilled team that he's had, or that the Sabres has had, but yet they're still bad. That might not be the coaching. That might just be the effort. People might go to Buffalo for the paycheck and be like, hey, if I do bad, what are they going to do? They've been bad.
Yep.
Like,
Make it
growing up
worse.
with us, the 05, 06, 07 seasons, it's like, man, this is hockey heaven. Now this is hockey purgatory. I can't even call it hell because we're just flatlined. We're not the worst, but we're definitely not getting better. I would. I mean, if I woke up the next morning and they were like, yeah, we sold the Sabres and we're bringing a professional baseball team, cool. I can watch the Yankees. I can root for the Buffalo team. That'd be fun with me at that point.
But I don't think you
Still
want
be a Leaf
to.
fan.
I don't think you want to sell a team right now. It's gonna go for a huge discount because sports teams are a little volatile right now.
It depends on what's looking. I think Hartford right now would pay a pretty penny for a team again because they're real
Oh,
bitter
you're actually
about
talking about a whole relocation.
Yeah, Hartford's pretty damn bitter in the last couple of years.
What if Toronto buys it and they have 2 teams?
There's
There
been
was
talks about Toronto.
There's talks about adding another team. To
They have
Toronto.
enough fans for 2 teams for sure.
That's the argument. Yeah, there's been talks about Quebec Nordiques coming back. There's been talks about Hartford because Hartford is super pissed off at Carolina for wearing the Whalers jerseys for the retros, which I don't blame.
cultural appropriation.
Hey, you never know. Atlanta might get a
Still the
third
rights.
chance.
Yeah.
They don't need a third chance.
I do have a question about the hats. How do you guys feel about the hats?
What hats?
What?
I don't know. Rick mentioned beforehand that he likes the hats. I just was trying to segue in.
Sean's wearing one.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
They still do a terrible job merchandising. We discovered that last year. The year before. Their 50th anniversary. So-
God, they dropped the ball. Don't even get me started. I can go on a tangent.
Dwayne all over again.
God, like seriously, you had a deadline to put in your jersey plan and you missed the deadline. That's literally what happened.
You have people in that position to make those calls and do that job, and they
You should have done. You did 80s night, wear your 80s jersey.
They don't-
90 nights, wear your goat head jersey. 2000s, wear the slug.
Yep.
2010s, whatever. Like you could have easily done. Vancouver did it. It's
Yeah.
not hard. We're not the only geniuses that came up with it. There's obviously geniuses on another team that got paid a lot of money to come up
in the
with that.
league.
Yeah. I am not wearing a Sabres hat, and there's a reason because I want to sell them for a baseball team.
Wow. Didn't.
Plus,
never
I'm
thought
wearing
I'd
a
do
Bills shirt. I can't wear a Bills shirt with a Bills hat or a Sabres hat. It just clashes. Nobody does that, Larry. Jesus.
that. My mind's telling me hockey, but my body is telling me football. Sorry. Whatever. No, didn't you say Bills? I don't know.
Oh,
Whatever.
Kyle, what's your idea for the Sabres? What do you think? Do you think they should just sign us?
Yeah, we would up morale. Drunk players aren't great, but they can be explosive. Sean's talking about explosive.
I drew a tripping penalty being drunk, and that was just me falling.
There you go. It's strategy.
I break
Oh,
legs when I drink. So
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sean literally broke his ankle playing drunk. Well,
Oh,
bottom
yeah.
line, I'm sorry, not to get. Bottom line, I think a solution the Bills need to do is hire a hockey of operations, like personnel. There needs to be a guy, a genius in the room that's saying, nah, that's not a good idea to give Skinner a one-time 40 goal scorer on a shortened deal or whatever, a huge ass fucking contract.
I think the Pagulas have nothing to do with the operation of the team other than signing the checks.
I think they have everything to do with it.
No, I'm
So
saying
they have
I think they
to.
should have nothing. To do with
Oh yeah, I don't think they should have anything to do with it. Right.
No, I know that.
I think right now they're doing everything.
Exactly.
Mhm.
What about you, Rick? What's your thing?
I haven't watched much hockey this year.
Not missing anything.
I don't have TV.
So watch us on NHL. It's just as better.
So I know that they suck. They're in last place like usual. I don't really know. It's going to be the same thing for a while, I think.
They could sign you as their goalie.
Oh yeah, because that'd be awesome.
For all we know, the owners, that
and my 3 beer league wins.
Hey, I'll suit up for the Sabres because I was part of those 3 wins.
There you go. You should go be a Zamboni driver. I'll make the same joke twice, and you might get to be a goalie in the NHL.
I think I have more shootout saves than Robert Leonard did though when he was a Sabre.
Yeah, now he's gone on to win like goalie awards and all that. He's having a great tandem season with Fleury in Vegas.
He got his head right.
God, you want to talk about jerseys? Those red Vegas jerseys and the gold helmets are terrible. They are absolutely terrible. They remind me so much of like a freaking AHL or even like a European league.
Oh,
It is atrocious.
Well, the red jersey is designed after the old AHL team that used to be in Las Vegas. It was
Makes
like
sense.
the Vegas Thunder or something. So yeah, it makes complete sense.
Stupid.
Right, any closing thoughts on the Sabres?
They suck.
Always next year.
They need to get better.
There's always next year.
We're in the middle of this year. There's always next year. Like a true
That's-
Buffalo fan.
Yeah, they might the owners and stuff might have just written the season off because it's
When you
COVID
s-
year.
When you
I
struggle
hope
against
about
some
that.
other bad teams in the league, that means you're the worst team in the league. I don't think we can even beat the Ottawa Senators right now.
I mean, Toronto just lost to them, and they're posting historic numbers. Well, Austin Matthews is.
Yeah.
I will say, too, my closing statement is McDavid is proving over and over and over again that it was never 1A, 1B with McDavid, Eichel. And I don't even know if Eichel's 2. I think I might take Johnny Gaudreau over Eichel.
Oh, and the heartbeat.
So, say people, or there are fans, I don't know if there are anymore, but there were people that said we still won the draft or the lottery. We lost it. It was never about Eichel. It was always about McDavid.
Yeah.
And he proves it every game why it was.
I mean, Eichel was on pace to have a really good year last year. Did finish decently, had a decent year. But how many 100-point seasons has McDavid had so far? 5?
No, I mean, he has just as many playoff series wins, too.
It's true. But,
But
I mean, need somebody to produce in the regular season.
I had said I'd rather be one and done in the playoffs than it be
Not at all.
looking at the draft lottery every year.
Yep.
So,
And then losing.
yeah,
Well,
Let
we
me
got
try-
Taylor Hall, so maybe we'll get that first overall pick.
it's very true.
Then somebody don't want him for a first overall anymore.
Nah, I got a really bad segue if you want to hear it.
I love to hear it, Kyle.
All right.
Give it to me. Give it to me
Maybe,
hard.
maybe they'll implement your guys' ideas and turn it around. It'll be a miracle season. They'll make a movie out of it. Know what they could do with that movie? Make a video game out of it.
Oh.
Today, we're talking about. That is the worst segue.
That was horrible.
I love it though. It's one of my favorites. Anyways, today we're talking after the Sabres thing. We're talking about in our opinion the best movie. We'll start with movie based on a video game. Then we'll continue later. So let's keep it just based on movies right now that are based on video games.
Kyle,
Anyway.
what's your choice? Is
We're doing 3?
have you given any hints?
Hints?
Your background?
Oh no. I've never actually seen this one. I have a list of notably bad ones too. We can talk about after we do our best ones.
Dude, you can get that in like the $2 bin at Walmart. I don't even know if there is a $2 bin, but they made it just for the Super Mario Brothers movie.
It's on its own.
I should probably watch it. I probably
How
should.
can you not like Super Mario's Mothers? That's a great movie. Yoshi's just a little baby like actual Velociraptor. It's sweet.
I haven't watched it. I probably watched it when I was like 7 years old.
I haven't
And
seen
I
it.
probably watched it not even knowing that it was based off of the actual movie.
Yep.
I want to watch it again.
Yeah,
John
I'll
Leguizamo.
probably try to watch it. Maybe under, maybe yeah. I don't know if I can watch it sober. We'll say. Anyway, let's
Vitamins.
or beer, whatever, beer league. No, that doesn't work. Can't do that one. All right, so I've got my best one. I had a lot of trouble coming up with these. Do you want me to go first or last?
Well, how many are you doing? You just do top 3?
Sure.
That's what
I've got 3 that
I got a
can
bunch, but I got a top 3.
Okay.
All right. I'll go.
Sean, you'll go after Kyle.
Okay. My favorite is Detective Pikachu. I don't know. Huh? You haven't seen
it yet.
It's a good one.
It's okay. It's silly, but there's a lot. There's not a lot of good movies based on video games that I like, at least. Then I got the other Pokemon one, the first movie. Sorry, I've got my notes here. The Pokemon, the first movie, because that one had a big impact on me. I don't know if that counts.
2000?
The one with
Pokemon.
Mewtwo.
Yeah, Pokemon is called the first.
Or just the Pokemon movie? They
Yeah,
redid it.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I might read.
Answer isn't that bad. I watched it with the kids. Mainly,
It was on
I
Netflix.
watched it.
It was
Yeah.
kind of cool because everyone knew the Pokemon universe, but they kind of opened it up in ways they never had before. It was
Well, you had the show that led into the movie.
The 4 of us, how many went to theaters to watch it?
I have no clue.
Then
I might
We-
have.
We
I
actually,
still
do you
have the
guys?
card.
Yeah, the Mew
I
card.
don't have my cards anymore. I sold them for like $10 as a group.
Do you remember the contest that they had where I forgot what the contest was, what you had to do, but the winner got a limo ride to see the movie?
No, this is for
Like,
Lockport?
Yeah, well, yeah, back when I was living, it was some contest. I don't know who held it, but the contest, it was advertised on TV. The winner got to ride in a limo to go to the movie. And at the time, my dad actually owned a limo company. We would go everywhere in limos, fucking everywhere we'd go in a limo, so it was pretty sweet. But we went to the movie in a limo, and I remember getting out of the car, and somebody, it was a little kid, like the next row over, like, oh, they must have won. I'm like, yeah, we didn't. That's still fun, though.
We're just posers.
Yeah, we're posers in a limo.
That's interesting. I wonder how driving a limo everywhere affected your perception of limos. Because I don't. Limos are like crazy. I don't think I've ever been in one.
You
They're like
been in a-
helicopters. I want to go in a helicopter someday, and I want to go in a limo someday.
We used to
Never
hook
been
my
in a helicopter
original
either?
PlayStation up to the TV.
I haven't been in a helicopter either. I mean, it's not like helicopters aren't everywhere like limos are.
There's some I can't remember what the building is, but there's some, I think it's a funeral home, and they have a stretch limo that has 3 sets of doors. And it's like the front doors.
Die in style.
I don't know what it's for. I guess it's for people who don't want to drive, because there's like
Well,
there's
because
the
they
front,
can't.
there's a pet, there's a
Can't
No.
drive, can't
You know,
breathe, can't do
no.
anything.
it's not for the dead. It's not a hearse. I don't think it's a hearse. But there's like 2 sets of doors at the front, passenger and driver.
Oh
and then there's,
no! I can't repeat that, Larry.
and then there's 2 in the middle, and then there's 2 in the back. And it's just like it's like a car you got 50% more seats in a car. It's really weird.
50% less seating room too in that limo.
Hmm. But yeah,
All right.
We
gotta get back on
What's your third? What's your...
yeah. I could not think of a third, so I'm gonna say Castlevania, the Netflix series, because it's really good. It's not a movie, but it's a good TV show. It's got one
I didn't
coherent.
think of TV shows. Fuck.
There's not a lot of those either.
TV shows.
I have a couple topics afterwards I want to talk about, but I want to hear your guys' best video game movies first. Castlevania is good though. It's a good one. It's anime-esque. It's fun though. Good characters. Good animation. All right, Sean, what are your 3 best movies based on video games? That was a freaking weird sentence. Sorry.
One of my, it's weird, but I really enjoy this movie, Hitman. That was a video game first. That was a fun game. Movie was all right, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I've watched it a few times. And then Kyle stole the other one, Pokemon. Definitely.
It's a good one.
Game, and then
It has nothing to do with the
show.
video game,
I
but
mean, Pokemon.
Yeah, it did not. The video game had nothing to do with the TV show.
I think Ash was in the video game.
The only
but-
one that actually had something to do with the
Red.
TV show
Yellow.
was blue
Yellow.
version. Or yellow version, I mean, yeah.
It wasn't there like he was like after the Elite Four. It wasn't Ash in name, but
He
it
was
was
red.
like
Red.
It was a guy who had a really like level 100 Pikachu and a bunch of other Pokemon.
Red.
Red? That's his name?
Yes.
Like the guy from that 70s show?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And then this is the one that still traumatizes me to this day when I see fog outside. It just makes it leery. Silent Hill.
Oh, no, it's a siren, not a bell.
Can't do horror. I can't.
Dude, that was one of the scariest games I ever played for the N64 and for PlayStation. And then when they made the movie, and I'll never forget, I was watching it with my dad, and it was creepy. And to this day, when I see it, it's foggy outside, it just gives me chills. It's like, oh man, It just reminds me of the movie and the video game.
The movie was good. Actually, I got a request from my fiance to talk about that in particular because she's a big fan.
Shout out.
Shout out. I think she's cooking right now, but whatever.
That's
Anyways,
what she should be doing.
she really liked the Silent Hill. No, oh my God. Meal prep Sunday. It's for her. It's not whatever. Anyways, so she really liked the Silent Hill video game. She played them as a kid, and the movie, the first one, she said captured perfectly the tone of the games.
Yes.
It wasn't a recreation of the plot, but it was really good, like tonally, really cool effects and stuff. And then the second one came out, and they tried to copy too much of the story, and it just ruined everything, according to her.
Yeah, the new video movie sucked.
I don't do horror movies or games. I
I'm
think I
not a
did
huge
Resident Evil 5 with you, Kyle, and I still had nightmares.
That
after.
was probably the least scary Resident Evil game.
Really? Oh man. I mean, I totally didn't have nightmares or anything like that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ricky.
So what is this? This is games that became movies or TV shows?
Yes.
Yes.
Games that became movies or became.
One that I do love, it was on Netflix. There's a TV show, The Witcher. I never played the game. Watched the show. The show is great.
That was a notable mention. It
great
does
game.
not. It's based on a book, but the video game popularized the series, so I think it still probably counts.
I do have Super Mario Brothers. I did like that. I love that movie. And it was like, I was a kid when it came out, so it was amazing when I was a kid. I'm sure if I were to see it for the first time now, it's the stupidest thing ever. But I thought it was great. And then to say it again, Silent Hill was one of my absolute. It's a good movie. Whenever it's on TV, if I see it, I will watch that. So
Pretty intense.
All right.
Well, I've had to change I had to revise my answer listening to yours. Because I didn't think of TV series, and I also didn't think of cartoon movies. So
yeah, go on.
I'll say Witcher is definitely on my list. I never play the game, but the series so far has been.
Did watch it?
Yeah, I've. It's so good that my wife, who hates like sci-fi, fantasy, all that, watches it.
It's amazing.
I watch it because there's boobies in it, but.
I guess there are.
You guess it's like the first
I don't
episode.
remember. That's not the.
They have the one like.
You're right. Yeah, that's right. The freaking wizard guy.
Yeah.
He's like, none of this is real. I just like looking at naked ladies.
Real to me. I'll say definitely the Pokemon movie. That's an amazing. You can do the original.
Which one? The Pikachu one?
Pikachu was going to be on my list, but now revising it, Detective. I did like Detective Pikachu. I thought the ending was a little.
Don't tell me. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay,
I'm
I'll
kidding.
just say that.
I already know.
I think the best parts of that movie were like the world building and stuff. Like the character designs were awesome. Ryan Reynolds was great in it. The main actor dude was cool too, but the story was. Whatever.
Graphics, you could have done such a like. They've shown that they can do an amazing Pokemon movie. They just need a better plot, I think.
Yeah,
Make it a second.
With that one, you got to be careful with the violence because they look a little bit too realistic for it to be actual.
Fine with me.
Okay.
And then I'll say I really enjoyed the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
I haven't seen that actually.
It's so cheesy, but like I love Jim
Make the
Carrey.
movie for you?
No, he looks so old.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, he's old.
Let me show you something.
Yeah, he's so old. But like the guy who voiced Sonic, like did a great job. For one, they did a great job listening to their fans and redoing the movie
That's a
after
cool
that
one.
just totally came out, and it was like, ugh, this is bad. But like, there's even
He had eyes that were like,
teasing the next movie, which there will be a next new movie.
is
Like,
Jim Carrey gonna be in it?
I'm assuming he's freaking
I don't
Eggman,
know. He can
The
pick and choose his
main-
roles at this point.
the main bad guy in the entire Sonic series.
Yeah, they could do stuff. There's other like Sonic based villains like Knuckles, I think might have started as villain. There's Shadow. I don't know a lot about Sonic lore.
But yeah, that would be that was my dark horse to be in the list.
What did you like about it?
I just the nostalgia of it all. Like I love Sonic. I thought the writing was cheesy enough to be included in the Sonic world. Like it was just there was some humor in it that was like, oh, they. I'm sorry, just read Larry's comment. I'm so old. They never made a Pong movie.
Pong?
Oh, what about Tron?
Battleship?
Was Tron based off a game or?
Yes, Tron was an arcade game.
Oh fuck! I love Tron Legacy. That's my number one. I love Tron Legacy. That
Never
is.
played or watched either one.
I never played it,
I played the arcade game.
but Tron Legacy because that's technically a sequel. There's two of them.
Yes. And was supposed to
Jeff
make another
Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges was in both. The original Tron
one.
was actually made in a way that was only made for that movie, and it was the only time it was ever made that way.
Which way is
because
that?
it's such a big pain in the ass. I don't know. I'm not fucking in cinematography, but I learned
They
that
made
shit.
a movie in a way.
Yes, yeah. Basically,
That's why it was good.
They spent more time editing how it was made than it was making the movie. But anywho, Tron Legacy, watch it. It's amazing.
Great movie.
I love it. That's my top three. That knocks out. Oh man, I don't know who that knocks out. I'll say it knocks out Pokemon the movie.
All right. I got some notable ones if you guys want to hear some things I've uncovered in my research.
I have one thing too.
Thanks, Larry.
I also got a text message from my brother who said that he thinks the new
Which
Mortal
brother?
Kombat movie, my brother Ryan, looks
That does look. That's what spurred this idea. It does look very good.
yes,
That was
what
done
sparked it.
in a great way to actually represent the game.
I
Did you
haven't
watch
seen-
the old Mortal Kombat movies?
Yeah, I never got into them though. Even the games I never got really into. So
Oh, I love the games.
But this movie, it's like Witcher. The movie is done in a way that I'll watch it not caring about where it came from.
I haven't seen it. What's notable about it? What makes it look good?
The gore. And the
that's
iconic like get over here or finish them. Like the iconic lines that are in the game that even a regular Joe Schmo that wasn't like obsessed with the games know about.
Hadouken. Wait, wrong one.
Street Fighter. That was a movie.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Side note: did anybody watch that video game series that was on Netflix? Ready for
Oh, I forgot about that.
High Score, I think it was, or something.
Yeah, wasn't
Yeah.
it about the goofball that had the high score and he owns a
Well, it was-
spaghetti hut restaurant now?
No, it was about the history of making of video games.
Oh, I'm thinking of
Pong
something else.
to Space Invader to Mario Brothers to Mortal Kombat to like Mortal Kombat and one other game are the reason why there are ratings on video games is because of the a bunch of parents went to Congress complaining about the
Probably Duke
intensity and the
Nukem.
violence of the game.
Yeah, I did know that Mortal Kombat was a trailblazer in the
Wasn't it? I think the game was like a copy of another game. They just upped the gore basically,
Yes.
and I think they made.
Well, yeah, I mean that's type of game has been done a million times since too. Look at Tekken.
Yep.
Tekken is a rated G version of it.
Tekken is a little more serious competitively, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's not as much gore. There's no gore actually, so it can be done. My kids could play it if they wanted to.
They can throw it on ESPN. if
What
they
are your
want to.
notable mentions, Kyle?
I got tons. You guys ready for this?
I got a few.
I was gonna say I think Sean has a few too.
Gamer. You guys ever seen that movie?
Yep, with
Is that
Gerard
based-
Butler.
Is that based off a game though?
Nope. It's based on video games.
It's
And I think that's
Right.
interesting. There's not a
That's
lot of
the one with
movies
Gerard-
that do that.
Is
So
that the one with
Gerard
Gerard
Butler.
Butler, Kyle?
Yeah.
And the guy from Dexter and 6 Feet Under.
Yep.
CJ something, I think.
Yeah, the guy from Percy Jackson.
But yeah, it's a fun movie. It
Interesting.
doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very like actiony. Like, oh, Hardcore Henry is another kind of one like that. That's a little crazier though.
Gamer gets pretty damn dark. Where like,
Oh yeah, I suppose it does about the relationship with him and his wife, doesn't it?
yeah, when his wife is being controlled by the big fat dude,
Yeah.
and like he's getting off on the guy like stabbing her pretty much.
Okay. But it's an action movie.
Yeah, they make light of the whole thing. He
Yeah.
literally throws up in a vehicle to drive it.
Oh God. Okay, but yeah, I enjoyed that one. It's a long time ago when I saw it. It was fun. Gerard Butler is good action
I like
star.
it, man.
Another one that was going to be my favorite, but I thought you guys would get mad at me is Wreck-It Ralph.
So yeah, I mean, like I get it, but like these are based off of that. That was a movie that was made into a game.
Oh,
They
I didn't know that.
made a Wreck-It Ralph game after that movie came out.
Like an arcade style game.
You know, spoiler alert for what we'll be talking about. But yeah, they made it into an actual game.
Okay, but yeah, it's a good story, funny, and it was
Your notable list so far has been off of fictional games.
yeah. Okay, these ones aren't. I also put The Witcher because it's not based on a video game; it's based on a book. But the video game popularized it. Uncharted is
Everything.
coming out.
Book at the end of the day.
Yes.
I think you're
Uncharted.
the only one that reads here, Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uncharted. Uncharted
This
is
says
video.
boobs to me.
Okay, can you read this one? Uncharted is a video game
Hi.
that is heavily influenced by like Indiana Jones. It's more action based, but they are coming out with a movie with Tom Holland as the main character and Mark Wahlberg as the old sidekick. And it's a questionable casting choice, but
How
it
do you
might
know
be
it's good? How do you know you'll like it?
I just think it's notable, and we should talk about it. I
You
don't
just talked about it. Like it hasn't come out. Like you
Okay.
literally just discussed it completely.
I don't think it's going to be good myself, but I'm willing to be surprised because I don't know if I know Sean's played the Uncharted games, but that's weird casting because in the games,
the still shots of Tom Holland though,
no.
they look uncanny to Nathan.
Yeah,
Drake, I
but
think.
can he play the character well? That's the important thing.
We'll find
Oh
out.
yeah, that's obviously at the end of the day, but
I'm honestly more worried about Mark Wahlberg because Sully's like a charming
gritty
old
old-
guy who always has a cigar and he's always talking about hookers and stuff.
I'm not a big fan of Marky.
Yeah, it's a weird
Marky Mark
choice.
as a actor, anyways. There's only a handful of movies that he's in that I like.
Yeah, so it's weird because
Basically
he's
Invincible.
I don't know. I'm
And
willing to
Shooter.
give it a chance, but it's. But one thing I am excited for by the same Naughty Dog is the Last of Us TV show. Is coming out. Who's the guy? Who's the guy who plays Mandalorian?
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
He's gonna play the main character.
He's what's his name? I can't think of the guy from Last of Us. What's the main
Joel.
character?
Joel, not Mikhail. That's a different one. But yeah, they got good casting, and it's a really good story. As far as video games go, I think it has a chance to be okay.
John commented on once again. I said Borderlands.
And they are making a Borderlands movie. I did read
Yeah.
about it.
Ugh.
Well, that's it. Like I
I'm
wasn't gonna make a
trying to
list of
repress that.
theoretical good movies.
Okay.
I was mainly doing ones that like we've
Yeah,
seen,
that are out. Yeah,
we
I
have
got it.
Alright.
experiences with.
Have
not
you guys
like-
seen Scooby-Doo Cyber Attack?
No.
Okay, it's like a straight to VHS movie.
Is this an honorable mention?
Why the fuck is it
I enjoyed it.
It
Okay.
was a video game. It didn't come from a video game.
Yes.
I
We're just
like
talking about movies now. You guys watch Scooby Doo?
yeah. It's no, it's
I was
the
watching
whole
it after my vitamins.
the
Great
whole
movie.
plot of that movie is that they built a video game and are part of it.
Some fictional games again.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was a good movie when I watched it a long freaking time ago. Jumanji, how about that? Is that based on a game?
That's not a
Fictional
video
game
game. It's a
again.
board game.
Okay. I got some
Well,
other
that's
stuff
it. We're
here.
gonna do
but-
board games, man. I actually before you go off, Sean, I enjoyed Battleship.
The movie.
I think if
Why?
it was, huh?
My brother said Scott Kyle needs a 1-minute mute. Seriously, Scooby Doo.
I enjoyed Battleship. It just, if it was called something else,
Yes.
if it wasn't based off of Battleship, I would have enjoyed it. But because it came from Hasbro and was based off the game, it's like, this is what I played as a kid. I don't remember Aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert. But I enjoyed the movie. If you just ignore the
mind it.
title, I enjoyed the movie.
I just don't like Rihanna in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, casting's never perfect.
Okay. Huh.
Great list, Kyle.
Okay.
Love Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I got
Loved it.
notably bad ones. There's a lot of really bad ones.
I got some really.
I almost want to hear the bad ones more now.
All right, Sean,
So
you can go first.
I want to hear Sean's. Yeah, so
All right,
let's
yeah,
Sean
Sean.
talk.
All right, here's a bad one. Doom. The Rock.
That's what was on my
So
list.
bad, guys. Give it. I watched that, and I hate horror movies. Like,
I wouldn't consider
horror.
that horror. Assassin's Creed. Awful.
I didn't know they made that into a show.
oh,
or
that's. Are we
movie.
talking about bad ones now?
Yeah, I'm doing
Yeah,
bad ones.
why not?
These are
See,
just notable.
Assassin's Creed, I didn't mind,
I wasn't a fan.
but I don't know if I've ever seen it from start to finish.
I've seen like 5 minutes of it, and it was just there's no dialogue. It was just the main character, running around on like a crane thing. It was cool action, but it was weird.
All right, if you say one though, I just remember one that I actually kind of enjoyed. So I hope you don't. I never played the game and I never watched the movie.
Oh, the game
I
is
have
one of my
zero.
all-time favorite games on the N64. I used to just
Yep.
go around and destroy buildings and grab helicopters and eat people and eat them. And then they made the movie, and it was, where's the wolf? Like, shut up! It was horrible.
The
Now,
game
once
was
again,
amazing.
The
yeah.
Rock. He's got to be in everything nowadays.
He has been. Same thing, Mark.
Him and Kevin Hart. Stop giving these awful actors fucking jobs.
Jared Leto.
Yeah. Stick to
I-
music.
I
Heroin.
fucking hate him as an actor.
Let's do a topic in the future: bad actors and why we hate them.
All right, I'm good with that. We get the fans in on that too.
Yeah.
All right, what else is on your bad list?
Bad list. Need for Speed was horrible.
I actually enjoyed that movie. That's not the one that I was gonna complain about, but that was a movie that I can watch and not cringe at.
I never saw Max Payne. I don't know if that was any good.
Oh, who's the actor for that one?
Oh, Marky Mark.
Hmm.
And I mean, this is an honorable mention. Of course, somebody said it earlier. Oh, excuse me, earlier. The Resident Evil. That was a game first, and there was the first couple movies were okay. And then after that, they were
Then
done.
yeah, they got crazy. So
They
much
wanted money.
I have a thesis about why video game movies are bad, but you guys probably don't want to hear it.
I want to hear is Sean. Are you done with your honorable mention list?
And then I mean, it's not. I don't know. I've never seen the movie, but it has a huge following. You got Warcraft.
Oh fuck! I meant to mention that movie was actually good. I enjoyed that
Never saw
movie.
Can you
It's actually-
do
Really
it?
enjoy the game.
Can you
It was
watch it if you don't?
I can easily see it made into a series.
That's a good
It
point.
was a very,
Kyle, say your point after Jake's done.
Oh,
as a
Is it-
fantasy movie, I think it was very well done.
can you watch it if you don't know a lot about the World of Warcraft lore?
Yeah, I watched it before we even played WoW, and even
Nice.
us playing WoW was still like 3 months.
Yeah.
I will say before you get on to your theory, my honorable mention is Prince of
Thesis.
Persia.
That was on my list.
I actually enjoyed that game or movie.
And the game. Jake Gyllenhaal.
I didn't watch or play either.
That was on my
Oh, I have an honorable mention for a bad movie made video game.
All right, what do you got?
I'll wait for it. I'll
All
wait
right.
for it. I'm gonna have
So-
to write it down.
I have some
I'm writing it to the chat, so don't look at the chat.
I have some discussion about. You guys can jump in if you want. If not,
I
that's
don't know
fine.
if I can spell it right.
So I was thinking about why video game movies are so bad, and a lot of it is like the story is so different. Like, especially in like Mario and stuff, you're the story is save the princess, and then you're trying to make a movie about that. It doesn't work. But an interesting observation is a lot of video games are actually inspired by movies and movie tropes. So games like Mass Effect are based on like sci-fi, like Star Trek, and then there's like Tomb Raider and Uncharted based on Indiana Jones, and GTA based on gangster movies and car movies and stuff. And so you're kind of like making a movie about a video game based on movie tropes.
I mean, that's just everything is based off of something. I mean, the idea
That's just generalizing.
But it's like cannibalism at that point. You're just eating your own tail. If you're looking for inspiration, you shouldn't look for like tropes and trends and stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion. But a lot of video game movies are very, very generic because of that, in my opinion.
You can go off on your idea there, Ricky.
What?
You're starting to say something. I interrupted you.
Oh, well, I'm just like everything. I mean, to say that, Mass Effect is generally based off of Star Wars and Star Trek. Well, every sci-fi thing that comes out from 1985 until, 100 years from now is going to be based off of Star Wars and Star Trek. It's like everything is generally, you get the idea from something or somewhere else. I mean, it's very difficult, I think, to be original nowadays, and even something that would be considered original, I'm sure was idealized from something else.
Well, that's it. Like, I mean, nothing's original anymore.
Yeah,
everything's based off of just a generalization of a certain genre of specific kind. A gangster movie has been done a million times. So to say that GTA is based off of it, sure, just like one gangster movie was based off of this gangster movie, or one sports movie was based off of this sports movie. Everybody knows the hero wins in the sports movie. So, like, it's just...
Are you dissing my future Sabres movie, Jake?
They made a Bills movie.
What?
It's called Second String.
Yeah, Second String.
The worst ending I have ever seen.
They beat the Vikings in the Super Bowl.
At the Superdome. Off a fake field goal. They're down by 4 points. And they're going for a field goal to not even win the game. And they basically run a fake field goal and win the game with a lateral.
Oh,
it's the dumbest ending. I watched it at like 3 o'clock in the morning on TBS, on my TV. And I was just like, I stayed up for that. The guy had to teach. So here's the plot of Second String. Bills movie. You guys should watch it. It's terrible.
What?
Basically, all the starters get food poisoning and can't play a playoff game. Can't play like the last few games.
A replacement.
And the running back can't make a guy miss. So the now starting quarterback takes him to a cemetery to teach him how to juke out tombstones, dead people. It's the dumbest fucking movie. But I recommend it.
I always like too how the best quarterback in the league was a free agent and was signed a week before the Super Bowl.
He was too expensive. No one wanted him.
As far as sports movies, it's terrible, and even as far as football movies, it's terrible.
So let's make a video game about it.
But like football movies, there's been a million football movies, and I think video games movie fails because people go into it with the expectations of being perfectly symmetrical with the video games. This happens then, this happens this happens that. That's why, like, not to give it away, but like when we talk about movies that are turned into video games, it's off of like almost series because you can do it into like little sections.
Mm-hmm. You can spread out the plot a little more.
Yeah.
Sean, you okay?
I just reading a message from my brother. My brother said a good movie into a video game or a video game creator would be Hitting the Slopes with Sonny Bono. Anybody knows who that is? He died in a skiing accident.
Dangerous.
Or it was a Playboy game.
Or horseback riding with Superman. Christopher Reeves, who was paralyzed from horseback riding.
Man, they sound like bummer games.
It was a good one. Thank you.
Oh man. But yeah, I guess my point is just like you're basing the games off of the loosest little things, because back 10 15 years ago, no one knew how to make really good video games. They were just trying to recreate the success of comic books and movies and books and stuff. there were like arcade games and stuff that didn't have a story, but if they were trying to make a story-based video game, they were just drawing from the very, very loosest of inspirations. And now it's
Well, that's it. You made a comment about Witcher being based off a book.
Mhm.
Everything's based off a book, whether it's a novel, a mythological book, or a like comic book. Like, I mean, I'm sure Sonic came from some type of anime book that over in Sega. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that everything. I mentioned Sonic. John, thanks for paying attention, asshole. I just think that everything
Be
is
nice to the fans, Jake.
everything is based off of something, and like there's no original idea. You know, I'm a Disney fan, obviously. You look at like Cinderella, basically. I believe that original mythological story comes from their sisters like killing each other, and like Cinderella was the only one that lived, pretty much.
Somebody cut off their toe, I believe, to try to fit into the
Yeah,
slipper.
one of the stepsisters
Yeah,
cut their toes off to get their slipper to fit.
or yeah, there was one of the princesses where basically like there was a lot of killing involved, and Disney
That
had
would be
to
a good video game.
familyify it all.
Okay.
So like nothing is original anymore. Everything is based off of something, and it's just a matter of
But then why get your
something?
inspiration?
Yeah, like
Why not go to the source? Like if you're gonna make a movie based on
Disney princesses are based off of mythological books that were made hundreds of years ago over in France and Europe. I'm not gonna fucking know anything about it. But like, so like it's
But you're not
Cinderella movies original to me. Now it's not because there's been about 8 of them. But like, you know what I mean? I can't say that the reason why they fail is because they're not original. Nothing's original anymore.
I suppose there are examples of it going well too. But another issue is like characters are very different in video games too. Like you're controlling the character. You can't do that in a movie.
Well, that's it. It all depends on the plot of the game.
Yeah.
You know, Uncharted has a very solid plot. Last of Us has a very solid plot. But like Far Cry is just so all over the place. You're putting boosters on a freaking cow, like to fly it all over the map. That's not going to be in a movie.
You're talking about Just Cause?
Or Just Cause, yeah, sorry. So like you're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to watch a Just Cause movie. Oh, they didn't put boosters on the cow. They really missed out. Like, damn, you could do that with CGI nowadays, or you could really use a real cow. Like, no, like, you know, you're going to have people like really mad about that stuff.
Animal cruelty.
Yeah, right. PETA will be all over it, even though they kill more animals than any other
He does
organization. But anyways,
we don't. Anyways, there's a show on Netflix that's a choose your own adventure show. It was okay. I enjoyed it. It's actually about writing a video game too. Speaking of,
Yeah, it was Black Mirror.
damn
Did
it, the
it.
game. Yeah, I was gonna say Black Mirror. Was the one that I thought of.
Yeah, so that was an interactive TV show. It's interesting. All right, I think unless anyone has any other points about video game movies, are we gonna try to move on, or are we gonna end soon? Because we're about an hour.
Go over an hour. It's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's talk about our video game or movies that became video games.
I don't have a bad segue though. Is that okay?
Take out a beer.
Speaking of video game movies, we can talk about movie video games. There's a game called like
I need more beer.
At the Movies where you make movies in your video game. Anyways,
You can rent out movie theaters to play video games nowadays.
That's awesome.
cool. All right. Rick, why don't you go first?
I mean, for movies that became games, I guess. I mean, the biggest ones, the easy ones would be like Star Wars Battlefront. Obviously, any Star Wars game that became that. Another game that I loved, it was pretty much, if you like Lord of the Rings, it is Star Wars Battlefront, the old Star Wars Battlefront, but it's Lord of the Rings. It's called Conquest.
Whoa.
Stellar game. It is the exact same thing as those Star Wars games, but it's Lord of the Rings, and it actually you follow the storyline, attacking each location, and at the end of the game, when you beat it, you can play an alternative storyline where then you become the bad guys and you kill Frodo at the volcano. Go back, you kill all of Legolas and Gimli, all those guys. It's a pretty sweet game. So I mean, Star Wars Battlefront, Lord of the Rings Conquest. Other than that, I had Pokemon listed for this because I thought Pokemon was a show before it became a game. So
It was a
that's
video game.
it
Yeah.
was a video game first.
Yep, 1996, the movie and the video and the TV show 98.
I thought the show was out way before the
It
game.
was all marketing, anyways.
It was manga, I think, way before anything.
Yeah.
Just
so-
like most of those are.
I mean, that's all I had. I didn't have. I thought that to me that cat.
You cut out a second for me.
No, I think that I don't know. I had trouble with this list.
There's a lot of really, really bad, even more so than the reverse. There's a lot of really bad games based on movies. And most
I was
of
gonna
them-
say my third one is not a good one.
I have a lot of like, they might count. They probably don't though. But yeah, Jake, why don't you go?
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I really thoroughly enjoyed playing that.
Mhm.
Second one, I would probably be Star Wars Battlefront 1 or 2. I could use both as number 2 and number 3 if I really wanted to. But I'll say for the third one, pretty much any Dragon Ball Z game.
Ooh.
Like, I loved that series. I still watch that series. I don't fucking care. I'll admit it. I loved watching those. And for the most part, I like most of the games. So,
Are they like
like Budokai.
fighters?
Yeah, for the most part, they're for they have started coming out with open world games.
Hadouken. It's a different one.
Still the wrong one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my 3. I just thought of an honorable mention, but I forgot about it. So it obviously wasn't good enough for.
Yeah, not that honorable.
Yeah, I mean, like Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, I really enjoyed, but
That
that
was
was
one of
not
mine.
based off a game or a movie because that was just a complete.
Again, based on a book too.
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings. Lord of the
I'll
Rings.
say
is
I
famous book.
before we go on, the one game that was made from a movie that was really bad was. I can't after watching Larry's comment. Bad. It's so bad.
I don't know how to
Was Scorpion King. Scorpion King was an absolutely awful video game, and the movie was not good either.
Hey,
The
what do you
heck
know? Who played him?
The Rock.
What is Scorpion King?
From the
You
Mummy?
know watch Scorpion King?
No.
An Egyptian-based movie that stars The Rock, where
Oh,
he's
is it like the Mummy?
Yeah,
they
yeah,
gave him his
probably
own
this-
movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was
that's
he was the main bad guy in I think the second Mummy, and then they made
Yeah.
him. He gave him his own movie.
Ah, okay. Cinematic universes. It's a callback to a previous episode, kind of, sort of. Okay. All right.
You want me to give you what a comment said?
I
Sure.
would not put that.
No, I would not
Well-
say that, Jake.
Okay.
I'll put it in my chat. So while Sean's going with this,
I'm up. All right. Well, I had the Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. That was a good game. It was a good movie too. And I mean, you can kind of.
you just read it. Ooh,
And then you could kind of. I mean, this isn't really just a movie, but I mean, there's a bunch of movies around this space. But I mean, I enjoyed the Avengers game. And it's decent, but
Beat 'em up one that came out recently.
yes.
Okay.
And then the last one I had was GoldenEye.
hi Larry, but Larry's taken off.
All right.
GoldenEye was a classic. That's definitely a lot of people have that as their classic video game, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't play it too much when it came out. Otherwise, it might be for me. But
I played a multiplayer every once in a while, but I will say an honorable mention for me was Fantastic Four video game, and that was because
Ooh.
Kyle and I played it, and like it was fun when we played it.
it was
It's
like
not
the
a
Avengers.
good game, but
No.
like it's just because I have a personal
Mhm.
experience with it, so it's like it was fun.
Fun couch co-op game. But yeah. Where's my list? All right. I don't know if this counts, but I got Spider-Man the new one on PS4 is kind of like it's loosely based on the new Spider-Man combined with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
And Spider-Verse.
It's a unique story. Yeah, and Spider-Verse a little bit. It's I don't know if it counts, but also in that vein is Arkham Asylum because that's mostly based on the TV show, the animated series, the Batman animated series, but it also heavily draws from the Nolan movies with the combat, how you're like in the middle of a bunch of bad guys and you're fighting them in the fancy showy style that they do in Batman Begins. I also got Lord of the Rings. Apparently they are just great video games. There's also a new one called Shadow of Mordor, which I haven't played too much of, but it's kind of fun.
That's not based off of a movie though.
No, it's based off of a movie universe. But yeah, it's hard to find these. I told you mine were bad.
A lot of these you can just basically pick a superhero. Be like, all right, there's a video game for that. You know,
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, Iron Man, they had a video game. Spider-Man has had plenty over like so many different platforms. Batman, I'm sure there's a Superman game out there. Unfortunately, it's probably terrible.
There's the N64.
There's also a
probably
bunch of Telltale and Lego games based on a bunch of different IPs. There's The Walking Dead is probably the most famous, but they also did like Game of Thrones, Jurassic Park for Telltale, and for Lego they did Marvel, Star Wars.
I had a Jurassic Park game.
And
I was gonna say Jurassic Park, the arcade that we played in Skateland, was a freaking awesome game.
I don't remember that one.
I have the Jurassic
We're
Park.
there.
I didn't
Jurassic
play the
World one.
games.
It's like a park builder.
Do you remember Big
Yeah.
Bertha?
Yeah, it's not. That wasn't a movie. That
No?
was just my life.
That was one for the audience. It's like the most annoying game you can imagine. There's a big fat lady and you're throwing like ski balls at her and she eats them and gets fat.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You
game.
really don't? You didn't remember Big Bertha? Oh man, she wore her. It was red dress with white polka dots. I think it was.
Whenever I didn't work in the concession stand, but whenever I visited, I was like, this thing makes me want to kill myself. So I just left.
Wow.
Luckily, I didn't work there.
Like-
Park.
It's really annoying. There's a lot of things that I really didn't like about Skateland.
Yeah, you would complain about being tired from skating, and it's like you're skating like 1 mile per hour in circles, and you're a hockey player.
And yelling
I
at
can't.
kids.
It's
Stop
like
it.
for 5 hours though. Skating for 5 hours, even slowly. Anyways, so yeah,
Before we move on to our chat, because I've already had one suggestion. I have a mission for our chat to think of suggestions for other topics for other episodes while we're talking.
that would be helpful.
I've already had
Running
one
out of ideas.
suggestion,
Yep.
and I won't say from who it's who. Sean might know from me saying it. It is, which Golden Girl would you do and why?
He texted you that too?
Yeah.
Isn't there a game like Marry, Kill,
Sounds like an
Fool
awesome-
Around with?
Speaking of video games made for movies, I totally fucked blah 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 from Golden Girls. I don't even know their names now, honestly. That's
I
something
don't.
I should ask your sister because she loves Golden Girls, doesn't she, Kyle?
Oh yeah, she made a parody intro because they
You
were
ask
going.
her who would she fuck.
No, nope. But she did Halloween and then made a video. It was fun. Anyways, I got notable mentions. Do you want to hear some things that may or may not count?
Big Bertha.
Oh God, that's my favorite video game movie.
All right, go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead.
All right. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yes.
It's a GTA
Classic.
clone.
Yes.
That is a classic. Simpsons also made one of the worst games in video game history.
I don't
It's-
know. There's a lot of really bad
wrestling.
video games.
I don't know if I ever played that one.
That's why they made it for the PlayStation a year after the PS2 was already out.
Nice. Huh. I also had Star Wars listed. I played an old Harry Potter game. I don't remember which movie. No, not that one. It was a different one. That one was bad. But there was another one I played. It was like the third or fourth movie they came out with a game. And it had some cool things. Like you went to classes to learn spells and it was an open world so you can
It's totally up your alley. Still going to school here 11 years
I
after.
love school. Everyone should go to school.
I love school so much. I play a video game that you go to school.
Yeah. There's a game about school called Bully. And
That's a great game.
That's Rockstar.
I actually never played that one. I should.
What? Oh, it's on
It might not be
Right.
good anymore though. I don't know.
You're talking about making a second one.
Ooh. Rockstar takes so long to make games nowadays though.
But
When they do, they're fucking.
they take the
perfect.
time to make a good game.
Yeah.
I'm like, who made Fallout 76?
This is a
Who made
callback.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, yeah, same.
Oh,
company,
geez,
Bethesda.
Cyberpunk was the biggest waste of money. Not to go off a complete tangent, but man, they built it up like this is gonna be the best game ever, and it was full of more glitches than 76 had.
I think
But I tell you, it was Fallout 76, but without the post-apocalyptic.
Pretty much, right?
it's probably gonna
Futuristic
get.
76.
They're gonna work on it and make it a little better. But I think if they make a sequel,
So bad.
it'll
And
probably
they
be
pushed
better.
it back how many different times? Like they're like, oh, we want it to be perfect, so we're gonna do another month of it. We're gonna do another month of it. We're gonna get it out, and it's terrible.
Mm.
They compared that gameplay to GTA 5, and they're like, if you throw a grenade in the water, GTA 5, it comes up. If you throw a grenade in the water in 70 Cyberpunk, it just goes down. Like nothing happens.
The
Like
water.
it was, you pull a tire in GTA, the tire actually explodes. In Cyberpunk, nothing happens. Like it's just the absolute gameplay of it is just
Immersion breaking. Those
It's-
are all
it's
immersion breaking
prehistoric
things.
to what is now the standard. Really, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
You can pick what size penis is though in that game.
You can. You
Yep.
can. I can live my dream of having an 11-inch cock.
I don't know how the Facebook terms of service is, but whatever.
Oh, penis.
We'll
Sorry.
find out.
I was talking about farm animals.
Anyways,
My mom was watching earlier.
She was.
but yeah, I also brought up the Harry Potter game because I think they're making a new one, and it's not hyped up yet, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. Might
New game or new
might
movie?
be new game.
Yeah, they
Just-
talked about. I don't know if it's going to happen. So it's been rumored for a while, but supposedly the rumors are growing that it's becoming a thing.
A game?
yeah, open world Hogwarts
I
game
was
could
gonna
be
s-
cool.
Well, what about the basing off of the new series? The
I don't-
Fantastic world of whatever.
Sure. I don't know if
Yeah.
I watched a Harry Potter movie after Chamber of Secrets.
Oh my god.
Almost
I-
all of
Prisoner of Azkaban was that? That was after. Yeah,
Yes, that's the third
I
one.
watched that.
almost all of the good video games based
died?
on movies are not actually based on the movie's story. They're based on the world and the tone and stuff. And they have their own original stories. That's generally the best way to do it. There are exceptions like Lord of the Rings, but that's about the only one I can
I was
think of.
Lord of the Rings was the one that was like, well, that was pretty hand in hand with the movie and game.
But there's so many cases that it's not good if they just copy the story. But yeah, another notable mention: Alien Isolation. Have you guys ever heard of that one?
No.
It's based on Alien, but it's just the whole
I just got
game.
so scared. Sorry, I didn't realize my wife was still down here and she just walked by. I thought it was a ghost.
The whole game.
Scared the
I've-
shit out of me.
I haven't played it, but I've heard rave reviews and seen some gameplay. And the whole game, you're hiding from one alien, and you can't kill it. All you can do is possibly stun it or hide from it, and it's chasing you the whole game. And it's a
It
horror
doesn't
game.
sound very fun.
It's a horror game. It's supposed to be stressful. I don't know. It got good reviews, and a lot of people liked it. And I thought that
I
was
didn't know you were down here.
an interesting one. It goes to show it's like based in the Alien universe, has nothing to do with any of the movies. Hi. I don't know if she can't hear us, can she?
Kyle's talking so much shit about you.
No, well, all people I expected, correct?
No,
Whoa.
Rick's not saying shit. It's Kyle. Another game that was made from a movie that just popped in my head was the Lion King game. That's a classic. And Toy Story.
Ooh. I remember a very old Toy Story game I played that was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, they're all.
There was a whole mission on a construction site where you had to mix paint and stuff. And you were Buzz Lightyear and you could shoot lasers at people and stuff. I'm not describing this well. Anyway,
Get the same.
What? Let me ask you. I didn't. This is spur of the moment. I definitely didn't give you guys time to think of this. What movie would you like to become a game, and what game would you like to become a movie?
Did we already do this?
We did that last episode.
Yeah,
Did
we
we?
did that. Yeah, we did.
I'll just
God of War.
checking.
I can't remember anything.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. But what movie would you like to be made a game? I guess.
I'll mention one actually. I played a Transformers game that was not based on the movies, but the combat, the way the Transformers are set up.
Beast Wars.
Beast
I had
Wars would
Beast
be
Wars.
amazing.
I had that game.
That was a game. There was a game.
Yeah, Beast Wars was a game. You're talking original PlayStation. Yeah, I had that game.
What about
That was one of the first games I ever had.
You guys remember the games or the TV show Zoids?
Dude, don't even get me started.
There was a video
There's so
game
many
for
things
that
I would
too.
say right now that's not Facebook approved. That like,
There was a video game.
Ah,
for that
okay.
too. I didn't know how to play it.
yeah, there was. I think there was all in Japanese or something like that.
Yes.
Though. See, I was into Beyblades growing up, which apparently is still a thing. Sean Fetchek says open world Star Wars Galactic Conquest game, pretty much like Battlefront 2 for PC, would be pretty cool.
That was I mean they made that game was the one that it really didn't catch on for some reason. It was pretty much like World of Warcraft, but it was Star Wars, and you could become a bounty hunter, you could become a
Jedi.
stormtrooper, a clone trooper, and rank up and all that, but not a whole lot of people played it.
I would like to give it a shot, but like, it's hard because you're pretty much targeting the WoW audience, and like they're very invested and such a huge following into WoW.
I think now
Hard to
with
kind of pull them from it.
with all the TV shows though, you're opening up like what other kind of interesting stuff is happening in the Star Wars universe, and like you never really got to look at the Mandalorians and stuff until now, except for
Well, that's it. Now, if you brought that game out, everybody would be freaking Mandalorians. Nobody would care to be anything else, really.
Maybe. I mean, it'd probably be the most popular, but you definitely always get people who want to be Jedis because they're just great, and you always get people who want to be bounty hunters because they're the Han Solos and stuff.
All I'm
They're-
thinking about right now is Zoids. I'm not even listening.
Han Solo is a smuggler now.
What did I say? Bounty hunter? Yeah, my bad.
Boba Fett was
Smugglers.
a bounty hunter.
They could imagine having a Jedi versus smuggler fight, and then a bunch of Mandalorians come and break it up and stuff. I don't know. It could be cool.
John is after my heart. You said topic. What movie/game would you like to have been brought back or continued? Mine would be Ace Ventura for a movie, and a game, maybe Dead Space. Please get an official third movie for Ace Ventura. Not the stupid son of Ace Ventura. That was a waste of time, a waste of space, and anybody who was a part of that movie should just be 6 feet under and just not talking to anybody else.
Wow.
That's my feelings on it.
I think you could make it work. You could have Jim Carrey play into the stupid trope of the grizzled veteran who's done with it, and then he like revitalizes halfway through the movie.
Why would he have to be like the mentor role? Like,
No, he could be.
not
the
that it did
character.
good, but he did.
Like, somebody hires him, and he's just like, "All right, I got a job to do. I'm gonna do it," and he just
Ace-
over the top for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Ace
like it'd be
Ventura.
easy. It'd be Ace Ventura meets Terminator.
Ace Ventura, Harambe's Revenge.
Or at least for oof. They could at least do it.
I love it. I would watch that movie.
And play that video game.
Yeah,
They
and
always
play-
did.
you
They
can
always did the
real-
extended intros. They could have that be the intro. Is that he's like a Terminator now, and he's just like invincible, and then it continues on.
They could easily
Yeah,
do
why
it.
not?
I mean, they did it kind of in the second one, where it's like he was in the temple meditating. You could easily do something, but like,
Alrighty then.
so old. As much as I would love to have it, he's old. That second Dumb and Dumber movie, which I am not going to talk about the actual second Dumb and Dumber movie.
Jake, tell us how you feel about Dumb and Dumber.
God, anybody that was a part of that movie, 6 feet under, and just never to work in Hollywood again. But
pretty bad.
the second one with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels was not that good either.
I didn't know they actually made a whole second one with those two.
The funniest part, spoiler alert, is when he's pulling the catheter out of Jeff Daniels.
Ooh.
That's the funniest part to me.
I like the part when he was like, "Sir, that's a pork chop in a baggie."
So, yeah, I watched that movie once and I was like, that's enough for me to watch it, so I don't really remember all the references. Now, Dumb and Dumber, the 1994 release, I could just I know the date, so that there you go. I can tell you the whole movie.
Does anyone have any other?
Austria. That. Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. Let's not.
Oh boy.
FetchCheck says there's a new game called Valheim, open world survival game based on Vikings. Looks like you're playing WoW. Sorry to randomly switch directions. Also, a movie topic that must be discussed was Jenny from Forrest Gump was just a horrible person, or was she like that because she was abusive? I'm not supposed to laugh at child abuse, but just the two comments are totally different directions. That wasn't expecting.
That's a good one.
So Forrest Gump video game could be interesting.
No, you just run everywhere.
Have you guys heard of walking simulators?
No.
It's
No.
It's kind of like a genre game where you basically just walk through really interesting environments, and it's
Like
just
Peloton.
I was gonna say, I remember the bikes that we had in gym.
yeah.
Right before we graduated, we were like, "Oh, we can ride through San Francisco. It must be cool."
Look at this hill. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, they need to make a Mrs. Doubtfire game. Yes.
Why?
What? What would be the game mechanics?
Dresses
You
a
gotta
woman.
fight off rapists. That's in the movie.
Is it like Home Alone? Home Alone could be interesting. Maybe.
That is a game that's listed as being a game.
It probably wouldn't be good. Actually.
Mousetrap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Valheim, I've heard really good things about, and that was literally a game made by like 5 or 7 people, like not even like a full company or anything like that. And it's like the #1 rated game right now.
Ooh,
I'll have to
I'm
look
gonna
into
check
that.
out.
I like my survival games.
It's very. I've only seen a little bit of it, but I get a very good arc feel from it.
I think if Sean ever plays Call of Duty again for the next week or two, he's going to break his TV. So
Yep. I quit.
maybe we could try that.
The funniest shit today was us playing in a match. I had 5 kills. Kyle had 4. Sean had 0, but I think he died 5 times.
Yep.
And it
5
was
deaths.
legit. I mean,
Every time he died, we got
brought
kills
him
off of
back.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, we brought him
That's
back.
what
He
they
runs
did.
up a hill
Yeah.
and dies. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
they wipe a squad. I spawn. They rebuy me back. I die again. They
It
kill me.
was we had a
Just goes up, I
$4,000
die again. It was horrible.
ability that just draws out enemies. It was great.
The Call of Duty, I can see being like somebody's gonna make that a movie, and it's
Oh, yeah,
not gonna be good.
Yeah, the Modern Warfares, they probably turned that into a movie.
But like,
Was
I
so
guess I
good.
don't play a campaign enough. I just play online a lot, so maybe the campaign you can make a movie.
The original
Henry.
Modern Warfare had a stellar campaign. I don't know about
Yeah.
the current ones. Even
They-
Call of Duty Ghosts was really good, I thought.
They were based on pretty simple, like on rails shooting with cover and stuff. But the really cool parts of it were the set pieces, where you're like, there's a tank running after you, and you like get into a helicopter, and then they shoot at the tank, and then a plane runs into the helicopter, and you parachute out of it. All of this is happening, and it's all scripted, but it's all really cool.
See, I want a good like World War II game, like where you're storming the beach, D-Day. Like there was a what's that?
Medal of Honor.
I was gonna say Medal of Honor. I played where you're storming the
Frontline.
beach, but that was like 15 years ago. It came out
Yes.
Yeah.
was
where they
Was
need to do an
Forrest-
updated version of it.
I mean,
was Forrest Gump in World War II?
No, he's in Vietnam.
Vietnam. He got bit in the ass.
I remember Battle of Honor Frontline. I had that one, great game.
And then
Um,
what was
I
it,
really
Rising
want-
Sun was the other one.
Yeah, they made Rising Sun. They made a few of them. I really want a really good World War One game. I love World War One
War
history as
One?
well. Yeah,
You know,
They
wasn't that
did-
what battle the one Battlefront was?
it was
That World War One?
absolutely
Battlefield.
atrocious. Battlefield. It was called
Or
Battlefield One.
Yes, sorry.
It was a terrible, terrible game.
So it was.
As far as
Isn't
the
it like
campaign
Battlefield
goes,
1946 or something like that, or something. 19...
yeah, they've done a few. Battlefield's done a
1914.
few.
How about Battlefield 5? What do you want for Battlefield 5 there, Mike?
I don't know what Battlefield 5. I've only Battlefield I
That's
ever really
an
played was
interesting
one,
one.
and it was bad.
We're coming
I
on
will-
Battlefield 6, and I saw the exploding dynamics of that game, and it's like you set off C4 in the one building, and it basically is just like a tumble effect of everything coming down. Like it's
pretty
really cool.
I wish
Like,
they had that.
the exploding
that
scenery
dynamic
in
effect in
Battlefield is just second to none.
They've been that way for a while. I
Yeah.
remember. It's
Yeah,
cool.
John wants us to play Battlefield so we can play with him. It's
not
the
very good.
Battlefield I played once. I think it was Battlefield
You guys
3?
played that a lot. Yeah, the one Battlefield 4.
4.
After Modern Warfare 2 was done, you guys
Yes.
did the next one. You
Because
got
I was so mad. I went from from Modern Warfare 2, where I'm getting like, as far as team death match goes, I'm getting like 16 to 20 kills a match, and then I go to Battlefield and I'm getting like 2.
yeah,
And
I
it's
played
like,
it.
'cause there's
The
bullet.
pacing.
Modern Warfare 2, there was no bullet drop, and then you go to Battlefield and like you have to account for bullet drop, and then I was just not used to it.
I like the more arcadey games myself.
Then realistic.
Yeah. I think gameplay is above all else when you're doing, especially multiplayer.
It also
Gameplay is,
depends on who's in your squad, though. Like if it was, us or people that we know, that type of communication goes well. I will be perfectly honest. If I'm playing NHL or Call of Duty or whatever, and I don't know the people, going to private chat, I don't want to hear your voice, and I don't want you to hear mine. So
yeah.
I don't care what you have to say, even if it helps me.
You could promote our podcast. Just be that guy. Every
Yeah.
person you talk to, just be like, watch Beer League Benchwarmers. That would be good. Good teamwork. Anyone else have a movie that they want turned into a video game? We kind of got way off
Got really off topic.
We did.
A
and then we
movie-
talked about history events that we're turning into games rather than movies.
I can't really think of any. I don't think I had all
Yeah,
mine.
God of War is my main one.
Yeah, it's-
John Wick, I think you could have a cool video game universe because it's just like assassins killing each other.
wouldn't that be kind of like a Hitman movie though?
Yeah,
Like I'm not saying it wouldn't be good or a video game. I should.
yeah.
Wouldn't it?
I mean,
wouldn't
I
it be-
guess Hitman was like more of like he was given an objective.
One shot, one kill.
John Wick is like vengeance. I'm going out to kill you all.
It's like, oh my god, it's
I mean,
it's
I
very
guess.
just shooting people with different types of guns and hitting people with different types of cars. So
Yeah, well, that's it. Like I'm thinking of like the Bourne movies. That'd be a John Wick type movie.
Mhm.
yeah,
Did you watch Gemini Man? That'd be a similar movie.
you could. It wouldn't.
Any type of shooter movie, really.
It could. But John Wick, it's like you take contracts and stuff, so you could have like a campaign that's based on like building money, taking on different contracts.
I got a movie that I'd like to see turned into a video game.
That's what we're talking about.
No, we were talking about video games turned into movies.
Oh, whatever. I was
Yeah,
wrong.
we're talking about movies turned into video games.
Whatever.
Oh, both.
Just go, Sean.
Anyways,
Okay, yeah.
Jumper. That would be a cool game, I think.
That'd be so fucking hard.
Woo, jump through
has
our
anyone
menu.
has anyone played
If we are
Dishonored?
advanced a little, maybe a Jumanji type game, like Starhouse said. That'd be really cool.
There's a lot of interactive board games online that you can play that are pretty fun.
I am mad
Like
that
Mario
they
Party.
took my idea for Jumanji and just totally botched it. Like I wanted a inside the game movie, and here we got 2 of them. I haven't even seen the second one, and the first one was just not. It was not what I was hoping for.
Okay.
Hey, what do you know? The 2 worst actors are in it.
Kevin
Shocker.
Hart and The Rock.
The Rock has
Hey,
some good
Nick
movies.
Jonas was in there too. He's a Jonas brother. I've seen him at Disney World.
And Jack Black
How do you
is
feel?
he's the best at what he does. I don't know what he
Yeah,
does,
what does he do?
but he's the best at it.
We need a School of Rock
And
video
what,
game. called
Karen
Guitar
Gillian.
Hero.
Karen Gillian, the girl that plays
The redhead?
Yeah, she's the one girl.
It's okay.
He plays Nebula?
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
Nebula.
plays Nebula.
Man, I'd put
She
my
was in
alien-
Doctor Who too.
I would love to have an alien sitting on my face. Jumper would be.
Is Jumper is the one where you can teleport around, right?
Yes.
There's a game called Dishonored. It's like a not cyberpunk, steampunk era game where you can actually teleport. It's like a stealth game though. And the teleporting is mainly used for like repositioning and stuff. But
It would be a good game made into a movie. I don't know why it just popped in my head. It's Infamous.
yeah, that
That would
was
be
cool.
a good movie. Or series. You can even make it into a series. I've been
That was
huge-
the first game I platinumed.
Platinum
Good job.
more than one, Kyle.
I haven't. I'm still a virgin when it comes to platinum.
Yep, me too.
I don't know what that
Unless you
is.
talk the back door. But anyways. Yeah, I wasn't talking about.
Infamous, the video game.
Yeah, that'd be a good. I would watch that. I think that'd be a good series. You know, him learning how to use his power, kind of similar to like any superhero series, Daredevil, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It was interesting though because the whole city was in chaos because everyone just suddenly had superpowers. That was the cool part about it. The
kind of similar to The Boys.
yeah, a little less
Gory.
yeah, dystopian. Anyways, yeah, I think that's
Movies turned into video games. Nobody else has any other?
I came up with a really
Godzilla.
That's a game.
Is it? It's probably not good.
Probably not. Probably really bad.
Modern. Let's do an updated version.
I like
Alright.
Digimon. That was made into a game.
I've got another rant I want to go on, but if
I
you
want to hear it, Kyle.
all right. So mute it now if you don't like hearing me talk. All right.
Mute it now. Fast forward.
Yeah. So
Fast forward live.
there's a whole big trend. It's not as big now, but especially in the 90s and 2000s, there's a big trend of making video
Parting
games.
your hair in the side to the middle. I know.
Exactly.
Did you know that that's actually a thing? But go ahead.
Fuck it.
Okay.
It's really a thing. It's the most annoying thing to see on Facebook, and it annoys the hell out of me. But go ahead.
Is that a part?
It's totally millennial versus Gen Z thing. Get off my lawn.
Turn your
Okay.
damn music
Oh my god. There was a trend in that time where every movie that came out, action movie, would just have a game tie-in, and it would be awful. And there's now hundreds and hundreds of awful video games based on movies, and it's part of the reason they have such a bad reputation. And a lot of it was because it was just marketing. They weren't actually trying to make a good game. So I came up with this really cool analogy that now that I'm saying it's really cool, it won't be. It's like you're making a sandwich that is the movie and hiring an Applebee's chef to make a 3-course meal to advertise your sandwich, but with 1/4 of the budget.
What the fuck did you just say?
What?
And it's like these giant movie
What are
studios
the
were
words
spending.
that just came out of your idiot mouth?
These movie studios were making things like The Matrix that are huge movies, and then
They're
paying
making a new Matrix movie.
somebody table scraps to make a game and have to hit the same deadline that the movie does. And it was just awful. They just never could make a good game because you need way longer to make a good game. They weren't trying to make a good game though. It was just marketing.
You
All
think
right.
it's easier to make a good movie than it is to make a good game?
I think the time that's needed is definitely a lot longer for a game than a movie. And you
But,
look
like-
at all these games that are coming out they take years, where the movies don't seem to take that long anymore. Movies, I mean, look at how many, they pump out Avenger movies every single year. Or what was it? It was it Lord of the Rings? The last two, the first trilogy for Lord of the Rings, they had the last two done when they released Two Towers into the theater. They had
Really?
Return to the King done. Yeah.
Oh.
So they had both those movies done in that time when they released just Twin Towers. Or Two
That's
Towers.
interesting.
Well, that's a lot of series of movies are doing it kind of like all at once. Because you already have the actors and actresses in one area, so it's like just get it. As long as you have the plots finished, let's just get it all done now, and then we don't have to see it in another year or two or whatever. And then you can kind of move on with your next project type deal.
I'm not an expert on either, but I think for movies you can do all the shooting fairly quickly if you have everything planned out well. A lot of the timing is like all the extra stuff, like the CGI and the editing and stuff. I could be completely wrong though. Talking out of my ass right now.
Ooh.
Like Jim
Jaws?
Carrey.
Jaws, I think, needs to be done in a. I would like to see a new Jaws movie.
Movie? That'd be
Oh
cool.
my god.
Say there is a Jaws video game.
There is. There's a few of them actually. I remember playing one for the Nintendo and the NES. Bye.
Bye, Sean.
Oh god.
Sean.
Hope everything's
Fuck you,
okay.
Sean. You
I
can't
think
so go
we
fuck
ju-
yourself.
you
No
just
shit.
got
Hey, Sean, I miss you so much.
There it is.
Yeah, it's
Hey, that might be worth money someday.
might be.
I bought a
16
PlayStation.
cents at GameStop.
I bought a
GameStop.
PlayStation 2 just for this game.
GameStop, if they're still in business. Diamond
They had
Hands.
one for the NES as well. I remember
yeah?
playing. Yeah. Well, I would like to see a new one.
I'm getting sleepy and losing the plot, and we've been doing this for 2 hours apparently.
Almost.
So, any closing thoughts about video game movies, video games, or any combination thereof?
Video game movies, to me, tend to do better than movies made to video games.
I agree.
That's just my generalization. And that's
Bold.
still a low bar.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, they aren't even that good movies either.
Comic book based movies, though, are usually pretty good.
Yes. Comic book movies and comic book games are kind of in a league of their own
Mm-hmm.
compared to the non-comic books. Your Max Paynes, your Hitman, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Is Rick falling asleep?
No, I'm chilling.
His eyes are open, so he usually is a telltale that
No, his eyes were
I'm falling
definitely
asleep.
okay. Whatever. Anyone else?
Nope. I think we're good.
All right. Thank you for joining us on this. I forget where are we? The Wii Sports basketball bench.
Facebook.
Something.
Facebook.
We're on Facebook. That's where we are.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it then. Anyone want to say a sentence that's gonna get cut off?
No.
Brunettes only.
No.